Yeah, go ahead, Miss California.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear the other man, but the thing is that someone was saying that you know how to get people's children back when they've been violated and abused by the court system. There's been constitutional violations, and I didn't even have a trial. And
the only thing I know how to do is get your property returned. All I know how to do is get your property restored from the government. That's all I know how to do. Child, I don't care if it's a unicycle, I don't care if it's a pogo stick, I don't care if it's a pony, I don't care if it's a child. If they have your property, you just ask for it to be restored. It's that simple. I don't care what label you call it. Because the only duty of any government is to secure and protect property. That's their only job, is to secure and protect property. You tell them, hey, I see that you're securely holding my property in your possession. Great. I see you protecting it. Wonderful. Now restore it to me. Thank you. I got it here. And that's it. And they give it back to you. It's that simple.
So what kind of procedures do you have to fill out certain forms to do the UCC process?
No. It's like 2 sentences. You write them a nice little thing, and you're done.
So you do it differently, because I'm dealing with a dependency court.
Yep.
And I'm dealing with the Department of Children and Family Services.
Nope.
And
it's not children. It's property.
Okay. So write down, give me my property back.
Well, yeah. I see that you have my property. Thank you for securing and protecting my property. And now the rightful owners is before the court, making a claim for the property to be restored. Thank you, and please restore my property. And that's it. And so far, 3 people got their kids back with that silly 1 sentence, 2 sentence thing done. The judge says, did you listen to my past show? It was like 44 minutes long.
No, I'm going to have to go back because I've just found out about you because I've been going through a lot just to get my son back.
Well, this Spanish-Mexican husband and wife, they said that's exactly what the wife did in court, and the judge looked over at the New Mexico attorney and looked over at the social services and guardian ad litem, and the judge said, you know the law, give this woman back her property. And she got back a 3-year-old kid. They went home. She didn't have to do Alcohol Anonymous classes because she was drunk when she got arrested. She didn't have to do domestic violence classes because she got into a fight with a family, physical fight, and she hit the cops. She hit everybody. She didn't have to do any of those ridiculous classes. She didn't have to do parenting. She didn't have to do anything. And they just gave her back a property. Go listen to that show. It's only 44 minutes long.
What's the name of the show?
It's this show. I don't know.
Okay, yeah. So, I appreciate that because I'm way into. I just got a kickback from the Court of Appeals, and during the administrative process at this point, and they're trying to determine jurisdiction as to whether my son is with Cherokee. You know, my grandmother's Cherokee.
Don't worry about it. That's just way too much. That's just way too much. Anybody who listens to my call, I'll tell you that's just way too much. I don't need to know any of that. If it's a bicycle, a unicorn, I don't care if it's a hula hoop, I don't care if it's a leprechaun, I don't care what property that you make a claim that the state is in possession of. The government only exists to protect and secure your property. As soon as the judge hears that there's a man or woman coming into the court saying, hey, that's my property. Thank you for securing and protecting it. Now please restore it to me. And that's it. And go listen to the show. It's only 44 minutes long because the judge asked the lady, you don't want to do AA classes? She said, no. You don't want to do parenting classes? No. You don't want to work with me? No. You don't want to work the court? No. You don't want to work the guardian ad litem? No. You don't want to work through New Mexico? No. You don't want to work social services? No. I just want my property restored. And she looked over at the New Mexico attorney, said, hand her back her property. And that's it.
How do you get rid of those attorneys, though? Because what they do, they make you be quiet. They make you be quiet.
They don't make you be quiet because you go into court as a man or a woman. When you're on a witness stand, they can't make you be quiet. Nobody can make you be quiet, not on a witness stand. You're testifying. When you're on a witness stand, you're basically like in a recording studio. You're pressing the record. You're making the record. An attorney can't. When the attorney speaks in court, unless he's on that witness stand, whatever he has to say in court doesn't go into the record. It's filed. It's before the court, but it's not testimony. Anything that attorney says, unless they're on the witness stand, it falls on deaf ears. It's just an opinion. But when you take that witness stand, you're pressing the record. You're making the record.
This is not, they are really gangster in this court. They say that it's in the name of privacy to protect children. But they take people out of the courtroom. I've never had a trial.
That's fine. You do the trial. Man, if you go for dependency, you put it in writing. That's all you have to do is put it in writing. If you don't put it in writing, you're wasting your time. Like I said, these folks, I write it for them. It's like 2-3 sentences long, and just stick it before the court, and that's it. And when you get before the court, the judge is going to see what you wrote, and he's going to say, okay, interesting. And then the judge is going to say, so you don't want to work with us? No. You just want your property restored? Yes. You don't want no, I don't want nothing from you. I just want my property restored. And they go, okay. Go listen to this show. See, it's not my word. Go listen to this Spanish-Mexican guy named Bernie Cazares or something like that for 44 minutes. He was on my show 2-3 weeks ago. And you go to, I don't even know the name of my show. It's Common Law, Uncommon Law, something like that. It's 127469. I know the number, but I don't know the name of the show. It's like Common Law, Uncommon Law, something like that. But like I said, it's simple. You don't have to study anything. The lady who got her kid back studied absolutely no law. If you saw a picture of her, she looks like she's about 30-year-old Spanish woman, and she couldn't tell you which end of the courtroom. She couldn't tell you anything about court. She couldn't tell you anything about law.
Oh my God! I'm like working day and night studying law.
Yeah, you're wasting your time.
I'm just drained. They just drain your energy. And once you step into that court system, they just drain you.
Yeah, well, you don't. That's good. That's if you read the little thing that I got on the beginning of my show thing. I think I basically just say, look, the only thing I do, I don't try to explain much of anything to people other than how to get in and out of court. That's all I want to try to show people. This is how you get in, and this is how you get out, and get in and out as fast as you can. And that's don't talk to these people because they're not talking to you. You think they're talking to you? They're speaking legalese. They're speaking Chinese. So, like I said, they're not speaking the same language. So when you try to talk to them, they're going to run you over like a freight train. You're going to get clobbered. So I say to people, look, put this 1 sentence, 2 sentences into the court. Just say, when I write something for folks, I say, like, say some lady's name was Jessie, and the lady's like, I, a woman, Jessie, claimed I was robbed of my property. See Exhibit A, and she had 4 kids. See Exhibit A, B, C, and D. And the next sentence was, I demand immediate restoration of the property. And that was it. They gave her back her kids. It's that ridiculously simple. And you don't give your kids names. You call it Exhibit A, B, and C, and D. And she had gun charges on her, drug charges, holistic nonsense, failing to inoculate the kids, all this kind of crazy stuff, all tree hugging stuff. And Canada didn't really go for that. But she got them back. And the Crown said to her, the next Monday when they came back they came back on Tuesday. That's right. The hearing was on Monday, the permanent placement hearing. They came back on Tuesday morning, and the Crown came across the lobby and said, we're scared shitless. Whoever wrote this, we're scared shitless. Because it's so simple. You don't call your kids names. It's none of their damn business what your kids' names are. They're your kids. You don't tell anybody what your kid's name is. They have no right to even ask you what your kid's name is. It's your property. It's exclusive to you. Nobody tells you to ask you about your property. Your property is your heartbeat, your dreams, your inspirations, your goals. Property was within you that you create. Nobody else created it. Nobody has a vested interest in it. Nobody can make a claim to it. It's all yours. The state certainly never created a child, so they certainly can't make a claim for somebody's a baby. That's insane. No government ever created a baby, so they can't possibly say they have a vested interest in it. That's ridiculous. They weren't in bed with you, They can't make a claim.
Wow. I've never been violated before, so violated ever before in my life. Do you teach the UCC process, or no? I know you're making it very simple, and I'm like astounded. But do you suggest the UCC process when you claim your property, or?
That's ridiculous. Because that's somebody else's beliefs you're using, not yours. You believe that's your property. You have no idea what the UCC says because you did not create it. See, I could definitely tell you never listen to my show because, like I say to folks, you can't interpret somebody else's words. You have to make your words your own. So when the judge sees your words, he knows those are your words and your words alone. If you use UCC or anything, he's going to say, oh, you're using somebody else's beliefs. That's not what you believe. That's what somebody else believes. Somebody else believes this. No, the judge wants to hear what you believe. Not what Mr. UCC, who wrote UCC 50 years ago, has to say. He doesn't give a, well, honestly, he'd actually rather have you speak UCC. That way he can interpret it, because he's got a license to interpret it. You don't have a license to interpret it. You don't even have a license to write it down, to write UCC. It's like theft of intellectual property. It's like using Microsoft software to create your own documents. You can't use UCC. You have no permission to use their stuff. So who do you think you are to use UCC stuff? Are you licensed UCC decipher coded specialist? No. So that's ridiculous to use somebody else's beliefs.
Okay. So
you gotta tell me what you believe. You just I believe you're holding my property. I believe the only reason why government exists is to secure and protect property. Thank you for holding my property. Now I require you to release my property back, and I'm like, oh, have a nice day.
And it doesn't matter what kind of hearing it's going to be. It doesn't matter what kind of hearing I'm going for. Because you know how they try to block you with all the California rules of this and rules of court and that?
No, because you have nothing to do with that. You didn't write the rules. They didn't write the rules. They're just interpreting the rules. They can't swear to any of the rules. If they say, well, according to the California, let's just make this for shits and giggles. Let's say some attorney wise guy on the other side says, well, according to the California rules, just like you said, 1, 2, 3, Section 5, comes and says, well, according to the California rules, civil rules or family rules, 1, 2, 3, Section 5, it's like, oh, yeah, you want to take the witness stand and swear to that that's what that code means? They'll be like, well, no. Well, then that's just your opinion what you think that code means. Did you write that code? No. Do you have the man here who wrote the code? No. You have the public law. Because the code was written out of a public law. Do you have the public law before the court? He's like, well, no, it's rolled up in Sacramento somewhere. It's like, okay, so you don't have the public law where the code came from. You don't have the guy who wrote the code, and you won't swear that this is exactly what the code means. You're just giving your opinion of what the code means. So isn't this just lovely? You have an opinion. Isn't that lovely? It's that simple. It's beyond simple, ma'am. How old are you? You sound young.
I sound young, but I'm older than I sound.
Well, how old are you?
I'm ageless.
No. How old are you?
Well, I'm past 30.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get an idea of if you're going to be able to pull this off. Because, like I said, the other lady who did it, I guess she was probably about 35, and she was able to pull it off. And the other lady was about 28 to 32.
I can speak up for myself in court. I was going to demand his... I think I might get his oath. He's not a real judge.
No, you don't. None of them are real judges in family court. They're hearing administrating officers. It's a contract. Did you sign some sort of a contract with the state, like called a safety plan?
Yeah, but then I rescinded it. I wrote on it, I do not agree, because they were using threat, duress, and coercion, right? So I wrote down that I do not agree, and then I rescinded the contract, and then I filed that, the rescission.
Yeah, you made a notice of rescission, right?
Yeah.
That's great. Now, where is that thing? Where did you file it?
Oh, I filed it a long time ago. I haven't.
So since you filed it a long time ago, did you move on it?
Did I move with it?
On it. Did you say, okay, here's my notice, and did you follow it up with a second notice just in case they didn't get the first one?
No.
That's what you're supposed to do. Just in case the mailman exploded somewhere and you got no proof that it was delivered to anybody, you always have to, nobody answered you yet, you're saying.
Okay.
Nobody answered it. So like I said, if you want to send me that rescission thing, that's lovely. You could send me one because I just wrote one for somebody about 2-3 weeks ago. So if you want to send me your notice of rescission, that's just lovely. And I'll take a look at it and I'll probably just laugh and say, look, ma'am, all you got to do is this. You're writing way too much.
Oh my God. This is crazy. It's thanks. I really had no idea that it was this easy.
That's beyond simple, man.
Yeah.
That's profound. Yeah,
Yeah,
they don't make any. If they don't make any money if it's simple, man. They try to make you guys think it's complicated so they could charge you all kinds of money. Believe me, and my wife went through 17 attorneys. She bought 8. I bought 9.
Oh my God.
It cost us hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's why I said, you know what, I'm getting nowhere spending money till it's coming out, and this is ridiculous, and I'm going to learn more. I'm going to figure this out. And I figured it out. And nobody else has to spend any of that kind of ridiculous money anymore. Just make your claim for your property to be restored, and you're done.
Yeah, it's ridiculous to sit here and have to write for your flesh and blood. That's just ridiculous. It's just, you know, late slavery.
It's your property.
To have to write for your flesh and blood. This is ridiculous.
Right, but that's what happens is a lot of times these folks, it's called the Communist Manifesto, and it says that the state owns all the property. So that's what they're trying to do in this country. They're trying to say the state owns all the property. So and you do it by getting into contracts, which you did because you signed a safety plan which bound you to the state. But like I said, you said to the state that you will let the state come in your house and inspect your kids and do also the nonsense.
Well, they really had me thinking that it was because I was looking into a housing program. And that's why they had me thinking it was really for housing. When it really was more to, they were just investigating me. I couldn't believe that they were really investigating me because I was seeing myself as a great mother. I don't have a drug problem. I don't have, any other problems abusing my child. I just raised my son unconventionally, and I don't inoculate him, and I don't give him drugs.
But that happened back in 1997 with Bill Clinton actually did that in Congress. What they did is anybody who was on welfare, they let them live on welfare for 23 months, and on the 24th month, they took their kids instantly, whether you're the world's greatest mom or not, because you only had 23 months. You had 2 years to get back on your feet. And if you couldn't get back on your feet, they automatically took the kid on the 23rd month. So stuff like that was happening like crazy. So a lot of women who were just welfare moms and living in Section 8 housing, they thought they were great. Like, hey, I'm taking care of the kid. I got welfare. I got food. I got everything for this freaking kid. Everything's nice and, quiet here. Boom. 23 months after collecting the first check, they come knocking on the door. And they say, hey, you have a job? No. Why not? Well, your benefit's going to run out in 30 days, so we're going to take the kids, and you can come and make a claim for the kid once you show us that you have a job. And boom. And then the kids are gone. I've seen hundreds of women, they do that too, on welfare. Any kind of Section 8 housing women, they do that too. They give you guys a couple of months to get on your feet, boom, and then they come and take the kid.
Wow.
It's not like it used to be. It used to be you could stay on welfare until the kid hit 18. Not anymore. You got 2 years. Well, you got 23 months to collect the check. And then after that, boom, they scoop up your kid. I don't care if you're the world's greatest mom. They did that in 1997. It was the HIPAA law. They did that back in 1997. They passed it with the HIPAA law. Yeah, everybody thought it was a wonderful thing, protecting women and children. Yeah, right. And then all the women realized what happened on the 23rd month. The government was coming in and swooping and taking all the kids.
Yeah, and so many children are getting molested in foster homes.
Oh, yeah. All of that stuff. That's just part of it. That's right. But like I said, the big thing is that you sign the contract, you ask the state for benefits or help, and the next thing you know, they bite in the ass. I know. I heard it all, man. I've seen it all. I've heard it all. I'm 50 years old. I might not sound 50, I hope, but I've seen it all. I've seen all the women in Birmingham, Alabama, all crying, who are on welfare, thinking that they were going to stay on welfare until the kid was 18. And little did they know, the law changed in 1997. They could only get 2 years of benefits, and then the state takes their kids.
Whoa, that is deep. And so, this is in Alabama.
Yep, well, that's federal. It's a federal law.
It's a federal law?
You got 2 years. Anytime you women have a baby, you got 23 months to get a house, to get a husband, to get something going on, because at the 23rd month, they're going to come knock on your Section 8 housing door, and they're going to take your kid. And then you got to jump through all the hoops to try to get your kid back. You got to have a good job, you have to have a car, you have to have a 2-bedroom apartment, one for you, one for the kid. Oh, it's ridiculous. And then once you get all that stuff, then you could reapply for welfare. and then you got another 23 months.
Wow.
It's a crazy game.
Wow.
But it ain't your grandma's welfare, where your grandma could be on welfare from the minute that she gave birth until the kid was 18. Then she had to get pregnant again and get right back on welfare.
Wow.
Well, just listen to the show, man. Go listen to it. I cut it down, so it's only 44 minutes. So you don't got to listen to like 5 hours of nonsense. And I think it just says Bernie gets his kid back or something like that.
Where should I send the rescission and signature to?
Oh, go to my website. You know what my website is?
No.
It's on my Talk Show series page, but it's called Broadmind. 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 It's broadmind.org. Yeah, broadmind.org. www.broadmind.org. Yeah, BROADMIND. Broadmind.org. And when you see that, it'll have my phone number, it'll have my email address, it'll have my physical mailing address if you want to put a stamp on the thing. You can do it that way too.
Okay, well thank you so much. I really appreciate your help, and I'll spread the word. Right?
It's a piece of cake. There's no rocket science to what I do. It's pretty simple. It's like a magician. Once you see how the rabbit comes out of the hat, you just laugh and say, "Oh, the old rabbit coming out of the hat trick." Yeah, you just stuff him at the bottom of the hat. I've seen that before. And then you just say, "This joke is lame." It's the same thing they're doing when you wouldn't take the kids. Once you see the trick, you say, "This is lame. Just give me back my kid," and it's done. It's like I'm not jumping through all these hoops.
So I demand that you restore my property. I demand that you...
No, you require, because, see, you
require.
Yeah, because require, everybody who's listening to my show knows what require means. It means to demand by authority and by right. See, the state doesn't have rights. Only a man or a woman has rights. So when you require the restoration of property, only a man or a woman could require the restoration of property. The state can't say that ever. It can never come out of government agent's mouth ever. They can never say we require the restoration of property. They don't have the capacity to use those words. They can't say the word require, and they can't say the word property. They can't. It doesn't exist in their vocabulary. It's like Chinese. It's like a word in Chinese that doesn't exist. It's a word in legalese that doesn't exist. So when they hear that you require the restoration of property, well, they realize, well, we can't answer that. Why? Because we can't answer a requirement, and we can't answer property. We're screwed, and they know they're screwed. Those words don't exist in their vocabulary. That's why they laugh at you and say, "Oh, ho, ho, look, she's calling her children property. Oh, ho, ho, isn't this funny?" The judge doesn't laugh. The judge knows what property is. But the state and the social workers think it's ridiculous that you just called your children property. They're like, "Oh, ho, ho, that's so funny." No, it's not. It's deadly serious. Only I can claim property. Only I say what is true to me, what comes from me. Only I can say it. An attorney can't say it. So like I said, the first thing you do is you do the notice of rescission. You get rid of that silly safety plan that you got yourself bound into. You find it, you think you sent something, you think it's what you wrote, but I'm telling you, man, there's a reason why they're ignoring it. But when I write it, they don't ignore it. I don't use any of that nonsense. I don't use any of that legalese nonsense. I don't speak like a lawyer. When they see what I write, they go, "Holy crap, who wrote this?" Only a man or woman could use these words. Who wrote this? An attorney can't write this. An attorney can't say this. An attorney can't, put this on paper. Who did this? Because they know it's not one of them.
Wow.
It's that simple. It's that simple. That's why I don't have to listen to hours of stories of, how they did this, they made me take classes. I don't hear any of that. I mean, I did all that nonsense. It's a total waste of time. And thank God people are going out there actually doing what I'm telling them to do, and they're coming back and saying, "Damn, this stuff actually worked." Some lady in Canada said that she told her friend about me, and she went up to the CPS in Saskatchewan and Manitoba, and she told the people in She didn't even put any paperwork in. She just walked into the CPS office and said, hey, you got my property. I require that you restore it to my possession immediately. And they gave her back a kid without going to court, without filing any paperwork, without doing anything. They just gave her back a kid.
I require that you restore my property immediately. Exhibit A, B.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. It's on my website. I mean, that paperwork's on my website. It's cut, copy, and paste. The stuff's so simple, it's scary.